Angeles, glowing brightly. And a quick check now at the starting five for both teams. Okay, first for the Bulls, Derrick Rose is out there with Michael Jordan. And down low, the two-time NCAA champion at Florida, the 6'11 tornado of energy and effort. It's the big man, Joakim Noah. Then there's Pippen, and it's Rodman in at the 4 slot. And for the Lakers, West is out there with Kobe. And the big guy in the middle, Shaquille O'Neal. A big game for this young man making his NBA debut. Then it's LeBron James, and it's Davis in power forward position. Whoops, there's the 24-second shot clock violation, so they'll turn it over. Now here's Jordan. Pippen kicks to Rose. There's the dish to Noah.
Noah once again had a really solid season, but his field goal percentage numbers dropped from where they had been the past few years. I think part of it was not having Derrick Rose on the floor, and then also he was hurt. Plantar fasciitis bothered him some, but not having Rose, I think, led to Noah forcing the issue a bit.
Chicago on defense. Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Well, I spoke with the head coach of the Bulls. Of course, the conversation veered to the challenge of defending LeBron James, and he said there's not a lot of good options with him. He can really do it all. I think you just have to try and stay in front of him, and if he gets in close, you have to bring help. And guys, we've seen LeBron really force the issue as far as getting into the lane. We'll see how they do.
Thanks a lot, Doris. Well, and speaking of Noah, some dip into his finishing numbers. You wonder if his injuries played a part in that.
Yeah, Coach Thibodeau rode him pretty hard. A career high in minutes. In fact, second most per game among centers in the NBA last season. And we remember he had the foot injury during the playoffs. So he's always had some health issues, but he's battled through them.
Are you surprised that he's become the warrior that he's become in the NBA?
Not really, Kevin. He was a winner at Florida, a guy who loved to play. He's got a lot of passion for the game.
Pippen, the pass to Noah. He kicks it to Rose. Michael Jordan on the wing. Just 5 to shoot. Outside Pippen. Shoots the 3. Shot is off. So the Lakers will take it the other way.
Well, a coaching carousel for the Lakers last season. They made it only 5 games before firing Mike Brown. Then they decided to go in a new direction. And, boy, they went through 3 different head coaches before all was said and done. They never really were able to gain that consistency they were looking for.
Rose dishes to Jordan. The finger roll finish at the bucket.
Boy, the drive to the bucket was nice, but how about the finger roll finish? Beautiful.
And back to the Lakers' struggles last season. What do you think, Clark, were the main problems that, held them back from being the kind of title contender that they thought they were and a lot of people imagined they were?
Well, how much time do I have? 3 or 4 shot clocks worth? I mean, I think there were a number of issues, as you might expect. Injuries played a significant role, but I think there was discord over how they should play, really no true identity. They were a big team trying to be small, a team without a number of shooters trying to spread the floor, an older team trying to go up tempo, coaching change, and that transition.
Right, yes.
You had a lot of moving parts, and it made it very difficult for everybody, I think. Flying through the air. Yes, sir.
Well, something special about him, guys, is just how good he is at winning the so-called second shot game, going hard to the offensive glass, salvaging points with his putbacks.
And he is also a tireless worker under the glass, Steve. More than a few guys have been on the receiving end of one of his elbows when the rebound is up for grabs. He uses his body very well.
So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group here. "34 seconds left here in the first quarter. That's good.
Good defense, but you got to love the finish with the finger roll over the top.
The Lakers in the lead. Goodrich kicks to Johnson. Lets it go from the wing. Gets the bucket. Johnson's got his first bucket of the night.
He's so reliable. You know, his offense seems to be consistently there for this team.
Rose against Goodrich. Kicks it to Butler. Back to Rose. Passes it to Levin. With 1 on the clock. That's good. At the end of 1, a closely contested game so far. Lakers. And off we go, a close game now starting the second quarter.
Boy, I tell you, the Bulls showed how resilient they could be without Derrick Rose last season. They played competitive basketball, but up against the Western Conference, they just didn't quite have the same punch. Got beat up pretty good out west.
Johnson, the pass to Goodrich.
And the defense fouling there to prevent that layup, forcing 2 free throws here.
A nice job that time of attacking the paint and drawing the contact. They'll take that.
This is his first chance at the line tonight. So he gets them both.
Steady work at the free throw line. Just what we're used to seeing out of him.
Bulls trail by 3. Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, gentlemen, the Lakers barely squeezed into the playoffs last season. Despite that, they had the largest luxury tax bill in the league, almost $30 million, more than double the next highest team in the Miami Heat. So, maybe one silver lining for them with Dwight Howard deciding to move to Houston? The team won't have to shoulder the even more punitive taxes that began this season. Kevin?
Good point, Doris. Thanks. Charles Oakley, he's checked in for Chicago. And the officials whistle a foul on the shot. The bucket's good. He'll go to the line. That sends Elgin Baylor to the free throw line. That one on Kukoc. Pau Gasol is checked in for the Lakers. And back to the Bulls against the West. Not sure what exactly their shortcomings were, but in the end, Steve, they were only able to win 11 games out of the 30 they played out of conference.
You know, the Bulls were a team that could win games on grit and toughness, but the West was a lot more talented last year than the East. And so some nights Chicago just kind of ran into reality, and they didn't have enough talent to deal with some of those Western teams.
Bulls trail by 5. On the wing, Kukoc. And again, Chicago, no good. Now here's Goodrich. 5-point lead, the biggest of the game. Baylor. Got him with the pump fake, but couldn't finish. And here we go, the Bulls fast break.
Well, you have to be so careful when you have the ball around him because he's got quick hands, really strong hands, and he has a knack for blocking shots, stripping players on the way up as they go up for lay-ins. So you've just got to always know where he is on the floor.
And you can't talk about him without mentioning his great passing ability. Not just the right pass, not just perfect placement, but excellent timing to spring his guys for the best possible look.
Luol Deng is checked in for Horace Grant. West with the ball. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. 6 to shoot. It's hauled in by Oakley.
The defense better not make a habit of giving him that shot. I mean, he doesn't miss many of them. You know, last season, a lot of folks had the Lakers picked as the super team in the West, the team that would maybe challenge Miami and LeBron, but from the start, it just never was a cohesive group and really had one of the most disappointing seasons in the Lakers' history.
West outside, into Wilt Chamberlain. And he uses the glass on the layup.
You know, that's been a big part of their offense in the early stages. I mean, their success working the ball inside and getting points from close range, right at the rim.
And I would continue to do it. You know, force the defense to maybe send a double team. Now you've got other options to work with offensively.
Butler kicks to Kukoc. He feeds it to Oakley. He's up against Gasol. Back to Kukoc. Rose dishes to Oakley. Pass to Rose. The feed to Butler. Back to Rose. Second shot opportunity. Hits the front of the rim and out. Well, Clark, as you said, the Lakers had a lot of lofty expectations put on them, but you never know what's going to happen when a team is put together. And, Steve, they just couldn't reach that bar that was set so high for them.
Yeah, the expectations were so high, Kevin, but injury issues cost them all season long. Nash, Howard, Powell, and, of course, Kobe with the Achilles at the end of the year. And that unit only started 7 games all season together, so they never really were able to develop any chemistry. The defenders have to be aware. They cannot allow him that position before he catches the ball.
You're exactly right, Steve. That is his domain.
West passes to Baylor. There's 14 seconds left in the first half. Gasol kicks to Johnson. Feeds it to Baylor. And the 3 off target. And the first half ends in a close one.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
The weekend is finally upon us, and on this Friday night, it's
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Here we go now, the start of the third quarter, welcoming you back in a closely contested first half so far. Here's Rose.
Get there.
Outside Pippen for the lead. Anthony Davis with the rebound. Davis has got 4 rebounds in this game.
Well, it's easy to see the effect that Derrick Rose has on a team when you look at the stats for the Bulls offensively last year. You know, this is a team that prides itself on defense, but without Rose, they really struggled to shoot and score efficiently all season.
And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, Ersan Ilyasova, a rare breed, a stretch 4 who's also a big factor on the offensive boards. Ersan said, "That's part of my game, to be active.
Dave.
Some nights you aren't going to hit those shots, but if I have this in my pocket, just go in there and crash on the offensive glass. It's all about second effort. Guys?"
Well, it seems he can do both, Doris. His role is steadily growing, too. Bulls trail by 6. And Clark, as you said about the Bulls, their effective field goal percentage was second lowest in the league, and it was definitely hurt by not having their superstar point guard and Derrick Rose, Steve.
Well, you think about what he does for this team, you know, now that he's back healthy, I mean, breaking down defenses, creating shots in transition, making a shot at the end of the shot clock. Those were all things the Bulls missed last season. They've been good on all 3 of their shots since coming out of the locker room at the break.
And the first time out of the game called for Chicago.
Lakers ended up 17-13 against Eastern Conference teams last year, but that wasn't really a dominating effort. Certainly not what you would expect from a playoff team.
Here's Rose. He's got 6. Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
Into Jordan to end the run. It's good. This time the assist from Rose. Well, and to make the playoffs in the West, you do need to have a record similar to that of the Lakers against the East. You know, Steve, no team that made the postseason in the West had a record below 500. So the Lakers took care of what they needed to.
Well, you know what's odd, Kevin, is that in the shortened season before, when the Lakers were the cream of the Pacific Division and everything was going well, they only went 500 against the East. So if they want to bounce back this season, they'll need to not give away games and make sure they keep their out-of-conference record better than 500.
Up and in with force after the offensive rebound. I like that tenacity.
Yeah, he is so sturdy. He just battles for every rebound.
And the shot is good. Rose has got 8.
He's very savvy in traffic. When he gets inside, has a kind of an uncanny way of shielding himself from contact and finding a way to finish at the rim.
And you know what else, Steve? Watching him run the pick and roll is like watching poetry in motion. I mean, this guy has that basic play down pat. He's unstoppable when he runs it. You know, not only is the game neck and tight, but the rebounding battle is too. Extremely close on the boards.
Yeah, both teams have really put in a terrific effort down low.
Kobe dishes to West. Shaq, Rodman covering. Shaq passes to Kobe. He kicks it to West. 6 on the shot clock. Kept alive. Here's Shaq.
Easy call there.
No question about that one. You could hear the impact from where I am.
For Los Angeles, they have made 2 of their previous 3 free throws in today's game.
Well, the Bulls battled in last year's postseason. Got a Game 7 win in Brooklyn to sneak out of round 1 in what was one of the more interesting series of the first round, but then fell to the Heat in round 2.
Chicago making a switch here. Grant's checked in. Takes the 13-footer. The rebound by Kobe Bryant. Los Angeles leading by 5. LeBron with it. He's picked up by Jordan. Backing down is Bryant. Tries it from 19. Chicago grabs the miss. And for the Bulls, no Rose the whole time, and they had questions constantly being asked if he would return, but the team came together, Steve, and showed the Bulls aren't just a one-man show.
You know, they missed him, though, Kevin, I mean, desperately. I thought they performed admirably, but they really needed him against the Heat. They were able to steal Game 1 in that Eastern Conference semifinal matchup, but without him, the Bulls just didn't have enough firepower to beat Miami.
A splendid pass that time by Rose.
Should probably use a little clock here.
Yep, make this the very last possession.
And Kobe, here we go. Again, the miss by Kobe. Here's Pippen. Shot is off. And we've reached the end of the third. Lakers. All right, we welcome you back to what's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. Outside, Kobe. Johnson. Back to Kobe. Dishes it to Worthy. That one a tad offline to the right, but drops in for him. Worthy's got the fourth quarter going with the first basket of the period here for the Lakers. Outside Pippen. Pass to Grant. And boy, that looked like goaltending. Yes, it is, and so they will award the basket there.
He almost got to that shot in time, but not quite. You can't touch the ball once it's on the way down.
And you can hear the reaction of the fans to that call.
Well, it's obvious they did not like it, Steve.
Shaq is checked in for Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron kicks it over to Worthy. He dishes it to O'Neal. Working on Noah.
Well, since the new CBA, the league has made the luxury tax much more punitive, but certainly the Lakers blessed with the financial wherewithal to be a tax-paying team. The problem is it can hurt your flexibility under the new rules just to make deals, and that's going to be the challenge for L.A.
Bulls trail by 7. Pippen for 3. Yes, and it's Rose with the assist that time. Rose has got 3 assists in the game. Well, you talk about the huge fan base for the Lakers, Clark, one of the marquee franchises certainly in the entire NBA.
I would even stretch that to all of sports, Kevin. The market and their finances clearly have helped them gain that stature, but you can't shortchange the organization, the people making the decisions. They've been a winner for a long time, and that's been the magic ingredient that's attracted fans, players, sponsors, the full package.
Time called here. The Bulls decide to talk it over. You look at LeBron James. He's really been playing well.
They need to make some adjustments because he's absolutely scorching them.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Well, Kevin, I was able to listen in on what the head coach of the Chicago Bulls was going over in his huddle. He loved the work they were doing on the interior, saying, listen, they've got no answer for us inside, and we're not going to let them off the hook now. Keep pounding it down low.
All right, Doris, thank you very much. Here's Jordan. Let's quickly check out the scoring breakdown here for the Lakers.
They've knocked down plenty of mid-range jumpers in this one. That's been big for them.
Now, it seems to me that they're taking a lot of pride in their rebounding tonight, especially at the offensive end, guys.
Dennis Rodman, he's checked in for Chicago. Lakers leading by 4. Johnson outside. He passes to O'Neal. There's the dish to Kobe. Back to Shaq. Working on Noah. The jump hook. Again, the Lakers.
He can finish in the post. That's one thing we know about him.
Bulls trail by 6. Pippen dishes to Rose.
Hey, balance it out.
There's the pass to Jordan. Misses off the left iron. The Lakers have gotten all 3 of their shots to drop here in the fourth quarter. They came out of the break on a roll. Kobe, that's good.
You know, with all the shots they've knocked down here in the second half, their field goal percentage has crossed the 50% mark.
Well, and that usually leads to a win. I mean, this is just very efficient offense that we're seeing tonight.
Chicago calls timeout. They're trailing by 8. 1:46 left in the fourth quarter of this one. Jordan kicks to Rose. Passes it to Rodman. Back to Rose. And some nice ball movement here by Chicago. Pippen for 3. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Jordan.
You can really see that his confidence is at a high level here in this half. He didn't have a 3 in the first.
We're in the fourth quarter here, just under 2.5 minutes gone. LeBron gets the screen from Davis. Kicks it out to Johnson. Johnson left side. And another basket for the Lakers.
The shot quality is very good here, and they're making most of them this half.
Oh, the way they're converting on seemingly every shot, I wouldn't be surprised to see their field goal percentage just keep going up.
Rose passes to Jordan. Back to Rose. And Johnson sends it back. They get it back. Offensive rebound. Rodman. Good. Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5.
Guys, he's actually indefatigable. He never gives in, never gives up on a play, and that's what it takes to be a great offensive rebounder. You've got to be relentless.
Los Angeles making a switch here. West is checked in. Kicks it to Kobe. He feeds it to Davis, and it's going to be out of bounds. The Bulls will take it.
Such a careless pass. You've got to keep your head in the game here.
Chicago's gone 2 for 2 from three-point land to start the fourth quarter. Outside for Pippen. Lets it go from deep. Anthony Davis with the rebound.
You know, 9 times out of 10, he's going to knock that one down. He'll spray that one on you.
Fourth quarter of play, and over 3.5 minutes have gone by. And they go to the intentional foul. First free throw is good, and that puts them up by 5. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 6-point ball game.
The free throws go down, and the lead goes up.
Chicago calls timeout. They're behind by 6. 27 seconds left to play in the final quarter. We've played just over 3.5 minutes now in the fourth quarter. And again, Chicago, no good. And now we've got the intentional foul. He drops the first one, and that makes it a 7-point lead. So Chicago going with an almost entirely new group here. And so he drops them both. It's an 8-point game. And Chicago has possession.
Well, it looks like their comeback hopes are out the window. I think this lead is safe now.
Yep, this one's a done deal.
Here's Worthy. Pass to West. And so the Lakers take the win. It was a